Hey ravers, this is Harman, your boy Harman from Fuera, the magazine of electronic music. It's a pleasure to be here with Shawn Jackson. It's his very first time here in Medellin, doing his thing, showing to the people love in all his music. How has Medellin treated you as well?
It's amazing. I mean, it's just the culture is so different. The people are just so down to earth and really hospitable. I mean, it's an experience I didn't expect.
For those who might not know you, how will you describe like your sound?
Ooh, that's good. I've always been an advocate of I make what I want to hear and I want to play. So it's always been techno infused to tech house, to deep tech. So it's got the tech vibe to it, but most recently a lot of more of the Latin tech melodies, a little bit of dirty synths and stuff, just to keep it progressively going throughout the track so you don't lose people's attention.
Gucci. You're from Chicago, right? Originally from Chicago.
Originally from Florida, but I've been in Chicago for many years.
Gotcha. So do you feel like Chicago is like the vibe that shaped your sound?
100%.
100%?
100%. Again, coming from Florida with break beats, Chicago, I was introduced to house music and that was it. Sold.
So by that time when you got interested in music, what artists were around or who got you maybe influence or getting like that notice of music?
Well, it was mainly house music. So it was like the old school guys, Derek Carter, Gene Ferris, DJ Sneak. Those guys were really,
DJ Snake, gotcha.
I was really focused on them, how they did it and what they did with their vibe. They weren't about having the perfect track, but it was the track that got everyone's attention. How
do you balance like having so much labels? It's 6 labels, right?
Correct.
How do you go through? How's your day to day with that?
I built up a good system, right? So I make time. I create the time that I need for everything. I don't manage time. So creating time each week for each label. I have a lot of other elements in the mix, as well as other people that help me out with managing certain things that, like the social media marketing. My guys know what I want by now, and
Gotcha.
they handle that on a weekly basis. My key thing is making sure I get the right artists, the right talent, hone them in to where they need to, because I'm really driven by the artists, not necessarily the labels. I want to help every artist that I can, that opportunity to put something out that the big labels won't do.
So it's a huge team.
Yeah, there's about 25 of us total.
Oh my, that's great.
All over the world too. I got them in Romania, Spain, Florida, everywhere you can imagine.
Colombia's the next?
I do have some friends in Colombia now. I mean, obviously last night.
That's cool, man. You're passionate about supporting like new talents. We've seen that a lot. How did that started?
Like with anything, I'm a believer if I like something, and I'm not gonna let anybody tell me no, right. I'll just go out and do it. In the early days of producing music and giving your demos out, it was vinyl age. So you didn't have an MP3, you didn't have a CD. And if you didn't get signed, I just went out and pressed the vinyl up myself and made sure they got into the right hands of people that would support it.
What will be that advice that you would have liked to know when you started and it could be now given to these new talents?
Absolutely, just be yourself, trust yourself. Don't let anybody tell you how to be, and don't let you tell you who you should be or who you should sound like. Just go with your heart and your gut.
We see that you're interested about textiles too.
Yeah, I have a apparel company. Again, I go back to everything. So my biggest thing is I wear clothes that fit me. I'm a hard guy to fit clothing to.
Okay.
I like very comfortable stuff, and for years I would buy all the latest brands and all that. They just didn't fit, or I wash them, they shrink.
Gotcha.
Big guy. So
right.
I went out and I developed my own labels and brands, and I make my own apparel. I wear all my apparel.
What's the name of the
314 apparel.
314.
But it's got brands it's got the after party, after hours, only bangers only. It's got trademark. It's got a bunch of them.
So it's more inspirational of electronic scene.
It's definitely in that culture, 100%.
Gotcha.
And we sponsor people. We sponsor artists. So when I brand develop people, they come to my label. You don't only get your track released. I'm gonna make sure I got a brand for you. Get your name out there. I'll make you your own apparel, your own logo, your own brand, and let them extort that a little bit.
So it's fashion, it's music, it's passion. It's incredible. How all that started?
Single parent, mom just instilled that work ethic in me.
Gotcha.
I saw her working through her multiple jobs, took care of me, give me everything I wanted. And though at an early age you don't appreciate that, and then once you get a little bit older, now I give back to mom, and she's really founded my foundation.
I love that. How do you maintain the creativity to approach or producing different labels?
Well, I create the labels based on my creativity. So if I'm working on something it just doesn't fit one of my other labels, I got to make a new label. Like Crossing Borders, I just launched.
Gotcha.
And that's the techno.
So that's a few months ago?
It just released on Friday, our first release. So, and I just run with it. So the multiple labels, the multiple middle, deep tech, techno, anything on the market, EDM, whatever it is, there's a home for it. And if there's a passion behind it, I want to make sure it gets out there. So that just keeps my drive going.
Gotcha. Is there any strategies that you can reveal to us when it comes to like diversify income streams beyond like just DJing? Yeah,
again, I learned early cash is king, right? So you can get credit all in the world at 18 and it will ruin your life if you just bridge it and don't have a justifiable business or a return on investment. So everything I do is internal. I fund everything through my other businesses as well. Get your platform out. The branding is its own culture. It has its own revenue stream. It's its own business unit. The music, same thing there. The sponsorships, again, whether it's an artist, an athlete, or DJ, we do it all. So there are all these different hubs in your business that when one struggles, they can all pitch in to help it.
Perfect.
Get back to the surface.
We were talking about DJ Snake and a few DJs more. So when you started and you got those influences, what have you seen evolved from there to now in Chicago?
It's night and day, quite honestly. And even those guys are, I don't want to speak for them, but it's not the house music it was. And that was a time that I captured and I'll always remember. It was a very special time. It's still there, but in a very small amount. Now it's more the electronic trending things, like we talked about. Businesses, big corporations are wanting to get into this music game, and some are good, some are bad. It just depends on what road you want to go down.
Okay, great. Is there any artists or maybe labels you would like to collaborate in the future?
I do already, but I want to do, again, I don't want to, not that I don't want to be on like the tool rooms and the worlds. I just rather get the ones that are out there that are tied to the roots of their country or their beliefs, like Columbia record labels. Coarzo, I want to work with them.
Absolutely.
Again, that was just a happenstance where we met and talked. The next thing you know, I sent them tracks and here we go. Now we have a relationship. We can only build on that relationship now as we learn more and more of one another, what I can have to offer, what they have to offer, and ideas. What do we do? I want to incorporate labels all over the world.
Cool.
And partner with them, collaborations, and let's make the best music out there and give it to those that want it. Because there's music out there that's not available.
Right.
And no one can find it, or no one wants to invest in
it.
That's what I'm about, and I believe a lot more people are going to be going down that path.
For sure. So in this journey in Medellin, you played in Comuna 13, you played in Baden, you played in Avengers.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to see you like more coming here to Medellin, playing in different venues, like maybe collaborating with more artists from here too, from Medellin. Have you heard or maybe seen any DJs that are really doing their job correctly here in Medellin, or you haven't had the opportunity?
No, absolutely. Every artist, every DJ I've seen is just, it blew me away. Miguel over here has been my driver, we were talking about. He's opened up every event that I've been at, and again, a young 22 something, just amazing. Plus he has a track he played for me, and a little more tweaking, a little more mentoring, I'll put it on my label, 100%.
Right.
And I know there's a lot more talent out there. Again, the hospitality and people coming up to me and talking to me, introducing the English barrier. Obviously, the next time I come here, I'll know more Spanish. But I give time for everybody. And there's a lot of talent here. Sure. And I don't want to exploit it. I want to help them exploit themselves. And I have platforms to do it.
That's nice. We already talked that you had a label that just opened like a few days ago. But what are we expecting from Shawn Jackson from now on?
Again, I'm just going to press more and more. Again, I get in the studio, and again, I create the time to get in the studio every day. I'm going to push my boundaries. You can call it EDM, you can call it techno, you can call it whatever you want. If it gets people moving and makes that connection with them, that's what I'm going to do. I love Latin tech, and that's kind of why I dove into making this label, Crossing Borders. But again, the label itself is Crossing Borders. So I'm leaving the Americas. I'm going to go to every other border who's got that, and let's bring it in and again, give them that platform. But the creativity and what you're going to expect from me is just, again, my new brand is bangers only.
Bangers
That's what
only,
you're gonna hear,
baby.
man.
Get it. Hey, it was a pleasure to have you in our podcast, Shawn. We're absolutely happy to listen to your music now here in Medellin. Hoping to see you a lot more here, collaborate. And it was a pleasure, my man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, man.
Truly honored. Thank you so much.
Family now.
Absolutely.
Fuera del
Thank you.
track in Cuarza.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. See you in the next one.